In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a real leader. He lives in Florida. His name is DeSantis. Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Ron DeSantis and some numbers that just came in about the infection rate in Florida of COVID. They've gone down. If you've been paying attention, you know that Governor DeSantis has kept the state open for over a year now, and yet the numbers are plummeting. We're going to go through those numbers. I'm going to show that to you. And I'm also going to show you how this whole thing is clearly political. And I'm not going to get too much into that. But if you want to hear the full analysis, go to gate.theconservativetake.com. There I'll have another video that won't be censored by YouTube. All right, so let's take a look at this article here. This is from Newsmax. And the title of the article is DeSantis Critics Quiet as Florida's COVID-19 Cases Drop. A sharp reduction in Florida's COVID cases appears to be little interest to the mainstream media. Wow, I guess, why would that be? And critics who previously vilified GOP Governor Ron DeSantis for his response to the pandemic. Now, behind me right now, there is an interview that I want you to take a look at. You start at the 31-minute mark. It's from the Steve Deace show from the 28th of September. It's with Justin Hart. He's with Rational Ground. And he points out some interesting data points that he and his company have gone through to point out that this whole thing is purely political between California and Florida and how things are handled. It comes down to a few key factors that others can see for yourself. Again, go to the link below. It's already queued up for you. Take a look at that and go for about 10 minutes and you will be fascinated to find out what his findings show, and it will change the way you think about this whole pandemic entirely. And it will make sense even more so when you read this article as to why the COVID outbreak in Florida has gone down so much so quickly. Let's hear that new infections per 100,000 Florida residents dropped to 12 during the past week, according to the New York Times. This article, by the way, is from Newsmax by Charlie McCarthy. He goes on to say that cases dropped by 48% in the state over the past 14 days. 48% in the past 14 days. The New York Times findings here, I have them right here in a PDF for you. It shows here, if you come over and look at the very end here, September, huge drop off here, and come down to October in terms of hospitalized versus deaths, huge drop off here as well, October 21. And this whole thing is here, a study here is done for you. I'll leave a link to this below from the New York Times as well. And I'm pretty sure that DeSantis right now is feeling pretty good about his decision to do what he did, to allow his state to open up, to not restrict commerce, to not restrict people buying, to not restrict people going out, going to school, and have restrictions, because ultimately Ron DeSantis understands that American individualism is what's most important, that the government does not need to be standing in the way of people, because ultimately people are the ones that find the solutions to the problems. The government is usually always the creator of the problem. And so this to me is amazing, and I'm hoping more states can take the lead to this. DeSantis allowed business to reopen with some limits in early May of 2020, in just 2 months after the virus virtually shut down the entire country. By September of last year, Florida had lifted all restrictions and began efforts to limit new ones that local governments could impose. Renewed criticism of DeSantis emerged during a due spike in causes, hospitalizations, and deaths due to the Delta variant late this summer. So there were spikes up and down last year and this year as well. And you will see that also in the data reflected in the interview that I asked you to watch a little bit earlier. Here's a quote here from J. Edward Benton, a political science professor at the University of South Florida. He says, "It's a right-wing approach. It's just a page out of President Trump's playbook. He's doing it to mimic what Trump would still be doing and did do prior to him being voted out of office." The Examiner said that some sectors of New York, including healthcare workers and New York City school personnel, have faced vaccine mandates that have not reduced COVID-19 infections to the level currently seen in Florida. So far, what's the takeaway? That Florida is absolutely killing it. In the state of Washington, with nearly 3 times the number of new COVID infections in Florida this past week, faced a deadline Monday to take the vaccine or lose their jobs. So you have states that are less effective as Florida, doing more mandates, doing more things that aren't being productive, that are being counterproductive, and Florida's doing less and less and less and being even more productive and having way more success at crazy, insane rates. minus 48% over like 2 weeks of infections. What is Florida doing that everyone else is not doing? That should be the question that every news outlet should be talking about. But the thing is, they are quiet and they are silenced because what he's doing is working. And the big question comes, why? So again, check out my commentary on gate.theconservativetake.com. I will give it to you there without any restrictions. Lastly, says, quote, let's not have Biden come in and effectively threaten to take away the jobs of people who have been working hard throughout this entire pandemic. This is Ron DeSantis. He said this during a news conference. I am offended that a police officer could potentially lose their job, unquote. So what are your thoughts on this? Ron DeSantis is doing a fine job in Florida. He's doing so much. He's actually taking Florida and making it great again. And he's showing the whole country what the 10th Amendment is all about. If it's not defined specifically in the Constitution, those rights are relegated to the states. It's the states' jobs. And it's also the experiment of our constitutional republic. You try it in one area. If it works in California, it doesn't work, you move. You move to Wyoming. If it doesn't work in Wyoming, you move to Colorado. It's an experiment. Every area is its own entity with its own governance. And so you can move based on what's working. And that's the American experience. That's the American experiment. And that's why it's a beautiful thing to do, which is why we need to keep the government out of the affairs of the states. Let the states deal with their own situations. Governors of those states know the people. Those people vote for those governors and legislation, and they know best how to live their lives in the state that they live in because they have their own inherent and unique situations and problems that come out from that particular area that they live in. So with that, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on my take on this? And what do you think it'll take for other states to actually piggyback and do what Florida's doing? Or is this really about public safety? You tell me, let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to know what you think. And if you like what we do on this channel, we take pop culture and politics and filter to you in a conservative manner, then please check out some more videos that we have picked up for you right here.